Joining us right now is attorney Anahita Sedaghatfar, who's of counsel for the Cochran Law Firm. We thank you so much for being here this afternoon.
Thank you for having me.
Well, these allegations go back many, many years.
They do.
How do you defend against it?
Well, look, I think the defense has some great arguments as to why these should not be admissible. First, the argument is this testimony is highly prejudicial and arguably more prejudicial than probative. That's the legal standard. And the fact is, the defense has pointed out that most of these women don't recall any details. They don't recall the dates, the times, the locations of these alleged sexual assaults. And so that makes it very difficult for Bill Cosby to defend against these allegations, probably impossible to defend. And another thing the defense pointed out, which I thought was very compelling, is that these accusers, these 13 women, have a financial incentive in this particular case. We know that at least 10 of the 13 women are represented by the infamous Gloria Allred, attorney.
And she was there in court today.
She's been there in court almost every day, giving her press conferences, and she's demanded $100 million from Bill Cosby for these alleged victims. So that doesn't really bode very well for the prosecution in terms of the credibility of these women.
Okay, so where does it stand now? The judge is looking at this.
Right.
What happens now?
So the judge has heard 2 days of testimony. He's going to take some time to review both sides' arguments and see whether or not these women, all of them or even some of them, should be allowed to testify. And he's going to have to listen to their testimony, probably in chambers, and discover whether or not their stories are sufficiently similar to Andrea Constand's story. Because remember, these prior bad acts don't come in this particular case. You can't use a defendant's prior alleged bad acts to prove he's guilty. But the exception is you can bring those bad acts to show that the defendant has a modus operandi, a pattern, a scheme. So those, women have to testify to things that were sufficiently similar to Andrea Constand's allegations in order for their testimony to come in. And I can tell you, if the judge allows these women to testify, one or all of them, and he gets convicted, this is going to be a huge, huge basis for appeal.
Now, this idea of establishing that a pattern existed, it varies from state to state, does it not? So how heavily would it weigh in this particular state?
Well, I think it's going to be a game changer. I think if this judge allows in this testimony, it is highly, highly likely that he will get convicted in this case, because without it, it's really a he said, she said case. And frankly, in my opinion, and this has nothing to do with his guilt or innocence, I have a problem with the fact that these criminal charges were even filed against Bill Cosby. Because if you recall, Bill Cosby, the reason why they're pressing these charges is because of the testimony he gave in her civil case.
And that was how many years ago?
12 years ago, right? And he had an agreement with the district attorney back then that if he testified openly and truthfully in that deposition, he would never be prosecuted. And the judge in this case apparently didn't believe that was a binding agreement because it wasn't reduced to writing. That DA is now dead. I take issue with the judge's ruling. I think it was a binding agreement. And so I don't even think charges should have been filed in this case. I don't even think that deposition transcript should have been unsealed because he settled that case with Andrea Constand, and part of it was to seal the transcript.
Do you think some of the women might be allowed to testify? Because we should point out, there have been more than 50. This is just now 13.
Right. So they've narrowed it down because the prosecution went after women that they believed had sufficiently similar facts or stories to Andrea Constand's. Now, I don't know. I think it's a 50-50 thing. I think if the judge does the right thing, he won't allow it in. Again, I think it's much more prejudicial than it is probative. That's going to definitely taint a jury. Once they hear these allegations, it's going to be very difficult to convince them that they can't use those allegations to prove guilt in this particular case. So it's going to be a huge, huge issue on appeal if it comes in.
Now, when you talk about the fact that some of this is murky in the memory of some of the alleged victims, couldn't they argue, we were sedated, we're the victim here, we were under drugs submitted to us without, consenting to it, and that's why we can't remember every detail. Isn't that a good defense? That's
a great point, and I'm sure that that's one of the arguments the women will make or the prosecution will make on their behalf. But ultimately, Bill Cosby, whether you like him or not, whether you think he's guilty or not, he has a right to a fair trial. He has a constitutional right to present a defense. And if he's unable to adequately defend himself against these claims because the women have no recollection of even the most fundamental details, I would argue he's being deprived of his constitutional right.
All right, Anahita, we'll be watching, waiting for the judge to come out.
It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Thank you.